Welcome back to PodX. This is me, Ayush, Majithia, your host, and our guest for today is Sakshi Shivdasani, a content creator and influencer who has won the hearts of millions of people across the country through a relatable and funny content. I'm really excited to have Sakshi on the show. Sakshi, thank you so much for agreeing.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be on the show also.
So Sakshi, I wanted to start off with your content creation journey. Which is a mystery to everyone. Suddenly you just started popping in everyone's feeds.
Yeah.
And we don't know how that happened, but
just came out of nowhere. I was in hibernation for 22 years and then one day I just decided to upload. No. I started uploading content during the lockdown, and it was the first phase of COVID where everybody thought it was just one big holiday, right? So I was like uploading I think 20 videos a day because I just had nothing to do at home on TikTok actually. Okay. And then I didn't have a TikTok before that, and I started growing on TikTok, and then TikTok got fully canned, and at that point I was like, oh shit, I've made thousands of videos and I don't have anywhere to take them. So I just started posting them on Instagram, and then Reels started. So I just started posting 20 fucking Reels on Instagram on the Reels tab, and at that point I didn't realize not a lot of people were creating Reels.
Correct.
So automatically on your Reels tab, every second video was mine.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's where I shot up or whatever, and everyone was like, she's fucking everywhere, and I was like, I'm sorry guys, I don't want to be on most of your feeds also. But yeah, that's where I came from actually.
No, but that was really cool that you took you got the opportunity right on that perfect time.
Yeah.
And also before that, you were you starred in India's Top Next Model, and you were in the top 10 contestants.
Yeah, I was on Supermodel of the Year, which is the same entity basically, but I think
it's a separate show.
Yeah, I think at some point they lost the franchise and then they just named it Supermodel of the Year, but same concept essentially. That was actually right before lockdown. I think we filmed it in December 2019 and it aired between Feb and March of 2020, so right before the lockdown started, and I fucking hated it. I just couldn't stand it. It was the worst experience of my life, and after that I was like, I just don't want to model anymore. I need something else. This is just not working out. And that's when I met with an agency because my friend was interning with them, and they were like, hey, why don't you try content creation? You seem like you have some semblance of a personality. So then I was like, okay, cool. And yeah, but the fuck show.
No, but I wanted to ask you, why is that? So that's a platform where everyone wishes to be.
Yeah.
And when you went there, you realized and you saw that there was another side of the story. So
Yeah.
what was that made you change your mind?
So honestly, when you're watching somebody on TV, or behind a screen, you don't realize that they're actual people, right? You're thinking about it as the entertainment value. So I had seen in India's Next Top Model, and I thought it was funny, in retrospect, it's very toxic. Even America's Next Top Model, Tyra Banks is getting cancelled to this day for it. But back then, we've all watched it, right? And then when I was on the thing, I was like, oh, this is my big break. I'm gonna be famous from tomorrow. And then you get on the show, and you're treated as the lowest of the lowest, on the hierarchy on the set. It's for example, we got 10 minutes to shower or eat one night, and then in one bathroom 10 girls, we just had 15 minutes because we got back from a shoot at 2 a.m. and then we had to wake up at 6 a.m. So it's you either sleep or eat or shower. You make up your mind. You can't do all in that amount of time. So, and it was back to back, day after day, and at some point I was they're not paying me, it's for exposure. So I was it's just not working out for me, and then I shut down at some point. And after a while I realized that perhaps my sense of humor and the MTV audience don't really resonate that well. So and I realized that pretty in the beginning of the show, like, you know, as soon as I signed the contract and there was like a you can't leave clause and all of that, I was like, fuck, I'm wasting my fucking time. And then I shut down. And then I've always had a problem with faltu ka authority, like, you know, those people that have a chip on their shoulder.
They just want to force their authority and show their power.
Exactly. So I was just not vibing the entire time, and I was crying off camera every single time because I was like, I don't want to give them the footage on camera of me crying all the time, because you know the way it's edited is like, oh, this girl cries all the time. Like, we've all watched reality shows and we're like, isme kya tha rone ka, but in the moment it's the most leechy shit. Like, they suck your blood. It's horrible.
Okay, that's one thing which I never saw or knew about it. We just saw all the glamorous side, and it was like it would give the audience an adrenaline rush. I don't know about y'all. It would give us an adrenaline rush. Okay, that I want to do this, I want to try that. Like, I think at some point, everyone in the country has dreamt to be an actor.
Yeah.
At least at one point.
Yeah, I mean, Bollywood does seem like it's all glamour, right?
Correct.
So I get it. But
But you know, even now I wanted to ask you this. Do you still get these adrenaline rushes when you're going for an event, or when you find these fans meeting you? How does that happen? Or like, what happens?
I don't think it's an adrenaline rush, because the thing is, my journey has been very like, a lot of people hate me. Like, you know, like even from the MTV show, or like when I just started creating content, there were a couple of times when I was in public and somebody came up to me and said, hey, are you that girl from MTV or like Reels? And I was like, yeah, and I was all excited and everything, and they were like yuck. And I was like, okay, you didn't have to come say that to me. So now if somebody comes and recognizes me, and it's been a lot of love also, but it's easier to think about the negatives, right? So as soon as somebody comes up to me, I clench, because I'm like, I don't know what they're gonna say. Like, I don't know if they hate me, I don't know if they like my content. And anytime anybody says they like my content, I'm like, there's a visible surprise on my face, and it's always like, why the fuck is she surprised? And I was like, y'all don't know what's going on in my head. But yeah, so that's not an adrenaline rush, it's more like a wave of anxiety.
But okay, how do you deal with that? So I'm not at that level where I get any comments, like good ones or bad ones, but I wanted to know at your level. Obviously there's a lot of it, like you've mentioned it.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with the negatives?
Oh, I think first of all, it's like, you have to kind of be like, okay, they watched a minute of my life a day, and if they don't like it, it doesn't say anything about me personally. Like, they don't like my content, they don't know me as a person, so they can't hate me or like me, you know. So like, it takes some time, but like I have managed to put up that like you know, that very like, oh, okay, you don't like me, sucks to suck, like, sorry, I'm still gonna show up on your feed. So it's that level of like confidence or like assurance in yourself that you're like, it's chill, you know, if somebody doesn't like me. And then like, I do go to therapy also. I've recently started, but like, I think I've just switched off at some point. Like, I've always been like that, where I haven't really cared what people thought about me. There was a time in the beginning when like suddenly like millions of people were thinking about me. I was like, ah, fuck, I hate this. But now I'm back to like the point where I'm like, yeah, whatever, like, what's their talent? Like,
correct, what have they done?
Yeah. So I'm like, fuck it, like, who cares?
No, okay, actually I do have something I can relate to. It's scary to a certain extent. I don't know if I told you this on call or not, but okay, for the context, Sakshi and I had like a pre-podcast phone call where we discussed some stuff. But okay, coming back to this, so I don't, what happened was in 9th standard, I was kind of, to a certain extent, cyberbullied.
Oh, you
I wasn't
were?
sure. So what had happened was, I used to have a unibrow, and now I kind of like clean it. And what happened was, so when you draw those crows, it's like V-shape, you know?
Yeah.
So one classmate of mine just decided to make fun of me, and he didn't just stop it at class. He started making a meme page about it.
Oh.
And he blocked me, so I can't see the meme page. But then a lot of friends started sending me screenshots about it.
Yeah.
And I had two options. One is either to go to the school counselor or deal it with myself.
Yeah.
And I knew if I took it to the school counselor, it would become a very big thing and a lot more people would know about it.
Yeah.
Which I didn't want it to spread because,
Okay.
I thought that I was scared that more people will know, more people will make fun of
Fair,
it.
yeah.
So I actually stood there and I decided that I'm going to email Instagram, tell them that these are my pictures, he's taken it
Yeah.
from here and he's edited and all that stuff. And then 2 days later, the account was down.
Nice.
And that was the best thing. But honestly, that was like a very scary space at that time.
Yeah.
But at this point, when I look back, I'm just like, okay, that was fine. It happened. It was a phase,
Yeah.
and it helped me to how to deal with people in life. That you can't always have everything happen your way, and you won't always find the best of people in your life. You need to learn to deal with the good people and the bad people.
Yeah.
So that was the thing.
No, for sure. And also the thing with cyberbullying and this friend blocking you and everything is he was too scared to say anything to your face, right? So my thing is bro, come at me, come try to fight me in person. Then let's see who wins. Okay, behind the screen, I'll also say whatever if I want. It's just I have things to do in life, I'm not gonna waste my time making fun of somebody. It just shows that they have really nothing to look forward to during their day, that they're taking their time out to cyberbully somebody. So I'm just I'm better than them, stop.
Yeah, it just reflects their it's like Gary Vee says. Do you listen to Gary Vee?
I don't.
Have you heard of him before or anything?
I wanna say the thing is, for some reason I'm getting confused, and I know this already, between Gary Vee and Ricky Gervais. And I know they're very different.
Okay,
but
I don't know Ricky, but I just know Gary.
Okay. I think Gary Vee is the inspirational dude, right?
So yeah, basically Gary keeps on saying that if people have time that they can they have a whole day and they're taking out time from their busy schedule to spending 2 or 3 minutes to think of something hateful, then spending time to write it down. It's just a reflection of their own insecurities.
Yeah. I do agree with Gary here. It is pretty cool that you just turn it back on them it's an Uno reverse card. Oh, you think this about me?
So Sakshi, I wanted to ask you this. Do you have any internal insecurities within yourself, and if so, how do you deal with them?
So the thing is, again, I don't know where the confidence comes from, but I really see myself as a person. In the sense that I'm aware that oh, this is not the ideal beauty standard, or this is considered an annoying trait. But I'm everybody has their flaws, and this is just take care, if I can work on it, I'll try. But especially physical insecurities, I'm no, I was born this way, and there's no point spending time hating the body that you were born in. It makes no sense. So it I've not been insecure about anything as such. I mean, I don't know, probably growing up at some point I was insecure about something, but even if somebody comes and tells me something about my appearance or something, I'm so it's not you're fucking jam hot or something. In my head, obviously I'm not gonna say it. I'm just gonna be okay, whatever, because
I need this type of confidence in my life.
I feel everybody does, because I remember a friend of mine was talking about how somebody told her smile is too wide, and I was and she was how do I smile more appealing, whatever, and I was are you fucking fucked? Why the fuck would you change your smile because some rando decided to tell you smile too wide? What kind of criticism is that? And when I was modeling, some casting agent told me my head is too big for my body, but my eyes are too big for my head, and my lips are too wide for my eyes. So I was how the fuck am I supposed to change any of that? I was you want me to get surgery? I don't get it. So I just feel growing up, kids are cruel. They will make fun of something or the other because they're all coming from their own spaces, but you just have to grow past it. I feel people are always gonna say something. It's so I'm fuck it. That's my life motto, is fuck it.
Yeah, I think even that, like I told you, even I realized that at a later age,
Yeah.
like till ninth grade, I was like very, very insecure. I think even after that, I was very insecure. It made me more aware about it, that I was constantly like thinking about it and all.
Yeah.
And then at one point, I was just like, you know what? His opinion doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
He's not really doing anything else.
Yeah.
So
Like, and in my experience, the people that have put themselves out there and have worked hard for something will be the last people to like make
Criticize.
fun of somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, they know how hard it is. So there's no like they'll never do anything. It's always the people that are like armchair like driving. They're like, ah, fuck it, like armchair driving, no, like backseat driving, like, oh, I could do it better. Then do it, bro. Like, just, nobody's stopping you, like, so do it. Or like, shh, quiet. So I'm like, it really doesn't bother me. Like, I've maybe gotten embarrassed when somebody was trying to like make fun of me or something in the moment, like, because you feel called out, like you feel like a hot rush to your face or whatever. But then beyond that, I'm like, whatever, like, this person was trying to embarrass me and then they succeeded, but I'm gonna come back. So like, that's my like origin story.
yeah, I like that. I like how you're funny in real life also, the same way that you're in your content. It's like not a different thing.
No, yeah.
But I want to ask you this then, how do you think we can build kindness and human connection? Okay, these are actually two separate topics. I would say
Yeah.
kindness is different, human connection is different. So, okay, what would be your advice? I don't know if it's the right thing, but what would be advice for people to be more kind or more gentle, or how can they be that or something?
I think, like, is put yourself in the other person's shoes before saying anything. Like, would you like to hear that? Is that necessary to hear? And then just be like, is that necessary to even say? Like, like and then just, if it's not, then just keep your mouth shut. I feel like that's all it takes, really. Just like a second before you open your mouth, like, it is required only, like, because I've said like so many times. But no, I feel kindness can be practiced,
Okay.
I think that even if it doesn't come naturally to you, if you just take a second and be like, would I like to hear that? And if the answer is no, then just keep your mouth shut. And I feel like that's
I can even start with something like small, like saying thank you to the watchman, thank you to
Yeah.
the person who gives you the food and all that stuff. Like so I have this habit in college where, and it actually also helps. It's a very random thing, but basically when we go in our college in the library, what we have to do is we have to register our names and SAP ID and all that stuff, and it takes there's a line always, and it takes like 2 minutes to fill out the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm very lazy that way. And what I've done is I had this habit, even from the first day itself, I used to say good afternoon, bhaiya, good morning, bhaiya, whatever. And at this point, I've heard his life story also. He studied accounts. He's done
yeah.
commerce till 12. After that, he couldn't continue because of financial reasons and all. But yeah, and now what happens is I don't have to write in the book or anything. He just lets me walk in.
nice.
So like that is also a side benefit. But yeah, okay, this is random and off topic. But yeah, I think that helps. It makes them happy also, and yeah, it gives them a satisfaction. It makes you feel good about yourself and the other person as well. So it
Yeah.
just gives out good vibes, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like also being kind to people just makes you like, even if it doesn't make you happy, it makes you feel like a better person. So if you're not doing it for other people, at least do it so that you feel like you're a better person. I don't know. And it costs nothing to be kind. So
Yeah, I wanted to ask you this though, like coming to the human connection part. So in like today's time, everyone's connecting on social media in the
Yeah.
digital age, and it's not like you don't really get to build proper connections or something. You don't really get to meet someone and know them and all. So how would you say, how can we build proper human connection at this time?
oh, I think I'm the worst person to ask about that, because I'm like the friend that just ghosts people for months at a time and everything. But I do have like activities I like to do with my friends, so I think that would be a good way to kind of like, a shared interest or a hobby or something. I think that's a nice way to build human connections. But again, I know a couple of my friends are gonna watch this and be like, what the fuck is she talking about? She hasn't responded to my message since like 2 months. Because I also needed like a break from my phone, and most of the talking with my friends happens on the phone. So I was just like, oh, I can't. But yeah, I think it's important to like meet people. I can't do like a texting switch or a call or something. I'd rather meet somebody and like talk to them, or just do something together in silence, like, you know, like just sit in the same room and do something. I feel like that's more important than having like a pre-planned activity. Just if you can take your friends like grocery shopping with you or something, very like random activities my friends and I do, but it's just like a fun way to kind of like build like, okay, this is not just, we're not just drinking together, we're not just, you know, like partying or whatever, we're like actual friends. So I think that's my distinction between like acquaintances and actual friends.
You know, I do have that also.
Yeah.
So there are like some friends who are like very fun. You can have, but it's only when you're going out partying or clubbing with them and all that stuff. You won't really discuss what you're feeling in your mind, what are the thoughts in your mind. It's just like a very outside friendship. So to everyone else on social media, it looks like, okay, wow, we're really close and all that stuff. But we never really have these deep conversations. And there'll be some people that aren't so often posted on my social media who are much more closer.
Yeah, because you're not busy doing things when you're not together.
And even when we're together, we're not thinking about like, you know, oh, should we post this, should we post that and all that stuff. And that actually helps in proper human connection. Like, we also, like, this is very weird, but I go with my friend for dog walks. So I don't have a dog, but that friend has a dog. So we go for a walk, and she's taking the dog on a walk, and I'm just walking beside her, and we're talking about random things. So it's like those small things that actually help in building connection.
For sure, no, I agree. Like, I do have friends that come with me for my dog walks sometimes, and like we go like sometimes we do like a workout class together, or go for runs together, or something random like that. But I think that's nice. That's always nice.
I want to do, okay, this is random again, but I want to do this like trekking trip, you know, like going on a hike or somewhere with a couple of friends and just like for the experience. I think that it's more experience, and it's better when you go with friends and all that stuff. It's like proper bonding. There's no like phone usage and all that stuff, because there's no network at most of the points.
I did a trek. I did a 5-day trek recently, and that is just not my idea of building human connections, because I was too worried about the bathroom situation to have any fun, because it was very like bare minimum. So I'll recommend a trek to you, but I don't think I could do that again. It was too much.
So Sakshi, I wanted to ask you this, that I've noticed it especially in my generation, where I'm saying it from the guy's perspective, I'm not saying it from a girl's perspective, but what I've noticed is that a lot of guys feel that a guy and a girl can't really have a platonic friendship.
Yeah.
If they're hanging out, they have to be dating. That's the perspective that I've seen. So what are your thoughts on that?
So I don't know a guy's perspective as such, but I don't think that's true between like my friends and me, and a lot of like I don't know whether it's like you guys are just, how old are you?
I'm 19.
Yeah, I don't
and
know.
And my friends are like, so I repeated KG2, so they are 18 and 17.
Okay, yeah, and I think they've just moved to Bombay, a lot of them, right? Correct. So I think it's just like, oh, we're in a new city, this is our time to reinvent our image, and like this is our time to kind of meet girls and everything. So I think that's like their primary like focus in life right now, but I'm sure it'll like calm down in a year or two, because then it's like, okay, friends are more important, like, you know, like relationships will come and go, let me make like reliable friends. And then you like, I've helped so many of my guy friends go out on dates and like help them groom better, help them make their dating app profiles, and I know it's completely platonic both ways. So I think it's probably just that 18-year-old testosterone rush happening right now. So I think that's also like a boys environment is pretty like different from like I think once the I don't know any 18-year-old boys right now, but I think once the like the initial rush calms down, and then they realize that there's more to life than just finding a girl to date, they'll either like fully calm down and become like well-balanced human beings, or they'll go over to the incel side where they're like, oh, these girls don't wanna girls don't wanna date me, they must be whores or some, I don't know, I'm caricaturing people. But yeah, like, I mean, it could go either way, but I hope we get a generation of well-balanced, internet educated, like on the good side of the internet, not the flat earth side of the internet, but like, you know, like nice, well-balanced people that think like it's okay to not be in a relationship as long as I'm a well-rounded individual with interesting hobbies or some shit.
So how would you say they can find that balance? Is it like going out and experimenting and like having new experiences? Because do you think it's like, okay, do you think it's being idle that puts these thoughts in their mind? Because it's at that age, plus when you're idle and thinking around it, or what?
I think, I don't think it's about being idle, more like it's like I said, you're in a new city, nobody from your school knows you, so like if you had some champu nickname in high school, now suddenly you can like reinvent and be a cool guy, and like, or you've been really popular in school and now you're like, oh bro, I'm in the big city, I'm gonna get a lot of girls or whatever the fuck, and then you come and it's like girls want to be friends, girls have feelings, girls have like personalities more than wanting to be my girlfriend, and then like you're like, okay, cool, like, you know, like I guess this girl is also just a cool human. So I feel like I feel like it's just a exposure thing, honestly. Like I'm sure, like, you know, when you're like 18, you're very like enthu about like making an impression in every room, and like you want everybody to like, you want to be the center of attention and all that shit. And then after a while you're like, oh, we can have a conversation also, it's not a performance every time. So I think it's just an exposure thing. So I hope they grow out of it. I don't know, like, or like, you know, they're gonna get a very big slap in the face socially, because after a certain point nobody wants to hang out with somebody who's like, oh, I want all the girls ever. Like, nobody likes that energy. So like, either they're going to become like really like no friends at all vibe, or they're gonna be like in happy like co-ed social circles.
Correct. So I wanted to ask you this part also, which is with regards to vibes actually. So when someone walks up to you, someone new who you don't know or something, how do you like judge the vibes if it's positive or not, or how do you know? Do you like get any intuition or something?
I'm really bad at judging vibes. Like,
Okay.
I'm straight up so bad at judging vibes that like, you know, somebody literally has to tell me I'm bad vibes, and I'll be like, oh no, like, you know, I'm like horrible at it. So I always realize like later on like what's up and everything, and by that time I'm just stuck. Like, but I do have like friends who I trust when they tell me like, hey, this person is bad vibes, get away from them or whatever, and then they'll give me examples. It's not like I'm blindly trusting them, because I'm like, no, whatever. But like my boyfriend's also very good like judge of vibes, so he's also like, what did you enjoy about that person, why do you think they're interesting people? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, whatever, they were nice to me. And my boyfriend's like, that's not always a good vibe situation. So I'm getting better at it, but I also have a very hard time saying no. So I'm just stuck with these people no matter what their vibes are. But I hope I get a better intuition for it soon. But right now I'm really like when it comes to vibes, my radar is off.
Okay, I'm not sure about it. I like to believe that I can judge vibes people. Like,
You can?
I like to think that.
Fair, yeah.
I'm not sure if that's correct or not. Most of the time it's correct, but then yeah, I don't know. So a lot of times what happens is for me, because of the podcast, I got to know a couple of people, and sometimes they're really nice to me. And
Yeah.
then after like 1 week of knowing me, they'll be like, hey, can you connect me to this person? Hey, can I talk to
Yeah.
this person? And all that stuff like that. And then I'm like not sure what is that vibe. And then, you know, someone else will have to come and tell me. I'm like, yeah, sure, and all. And then someone else will come and tell me that, you know, that person is actually using you for this. And that's when I
Yeah.
realized, oh, it was like this. But I like to believe that I can still judge.
Yeah, fair. Like, no, I get it, because sometimes they're like, oh, they're just networking if I
Correct.
have the ability and everything. But like, the thing is, you know, my entire thought process is that I'm not important enough for people to use. Like, I think it's a ridiculous, like, I don't know that many people. I have nothing to offer that people want to use as my perspective of myself. So that thought never occurs to me personally. And then I think it's just like,
No, but I'm just saying you have a lot to offer.
no, really, as a friend, I don't have
Okay.
that much to offer. Like, I'm a good friend to have, like, and all of that. But there's no like, I don't feel like there could be a using vibe at all with me personally. It's more like, like if I want to chill at home one day and they're like, no, you have to come out, or like, you have to drink tonight, that's when I'm like, hey, listen, these are my boundaries or whatever. But in general, I do have a tough time saying no, so I'm just like, I trust very blindly. Like, I'm like, okay, this person's being nice to me, they're probably a nice person, but then I guess you have to trust with their behavior with other people. So I think I'm learning to like judge that, like, if like just because somebody is nice to me doesn't mean they're a nice person. Like, you have to judge like how they are with everybody around them.
You know, to go to a different topic again. So, what would be your relationship advice now to anyone?
Oh, just date your, like, not your actual best friend, but like find a best friend in your partner, and then like it'll be like a sleepover vibe every night, and like just be like chill. Like, don't expect too much from one person. This person is exactly that, like a person with flaws and everything, and there might be things that piss you off about them, there might be things that you love, but they don't exist to make you happy. Like, that's not their sole purpose in life. They're like well-rounded humans, otherwise you wouldn't have fallen for them. So like, manage your expectations accordingly.
Yeah, and they're like complete on their own. Like,
Yeah.
people have this thing that, that, oh, this person will come and complete me and all that stuff. They need to understand that two people are complete human beings in their self.
Yeah.
You can't like expect, like you said, you can't expect them to always be there and satisfy your needs. And
Yeah. Like, it's definitely like y'all should be able to have like individual personalities. Like, don't mesh into one person. That's gross. Like, so just aggressive. No, but yeah, I think chill out a little bit in general.
Another part which you spoke about in the podcast was you have like a tough time setting boundaries. Now, this is like to a certain extent a personal question that I have noticed when
Sushi. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So when there's like there's like in college everyone faces peer pressure to a certain extent. So how would you know that you need to make your boundaries clear to that person, and how do you not let yourself be influenced by that?
Oh.
Because even at your stage you might have faced it.
Nobody peer pressured me,
Okay.
bro, because I was straight up like, no.
Okay.
Like, in college I was very like chill with like saying no to people, or being like, no, this is just not my cup of tea or whatever. It's more like with my friends I have like slight like, because I want to be there for them, I want to be a good friend or whatever. But I think I think peer pressure also peer pressure is very, in my opinion, very like villainized on TV. Like, most times if you tell somebody, hey, I'm not drinking tonight, they'll be like, okay, cool. Like, nobody's coming to offer you drugs. Like,
Correct.
At least nobody has ever in my life offered me drugs or alcohol. I think especially college kids are buying alcohol. They don't want to waste it on other people. So I think that's no longer a problem. I solved peer pressure.
Okay, I wanted to ask you this. What would be your last advice for anyone who's watching or listening to this podcast?
Just be confident in yourself and like live your best life, and don't give two fucks about like what other people think about you, and just vibe all the time.
Okay, Sakshi, it was awesome having you, and the
Thank
best part was it's really cool that you're the same on Instagram and you're the same in person.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. I don't know how to be anything else. But
Just
it was so nice being here.
One more question. I think we
Yeah,
all have
for
that in the
sure.
audience. When are you going to become a cartoon voice?
Oh, bro, I have no idea, but I'm waiting. Like, I want to do some like South Park or like Family Guy type of cartoon where I can just swear as an annoying animated character, but I can't wait. I'll keep you all posted on that.
I think that's one thing we're looking forward to.
Thank you.